Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is March 10 and we are getting into volume 29 of me going through all your comments and questions and answering them. Before I start, I'm gonna mention this is not a legal advice. I'm not an immigration attorney. All the information that I provide in these videos on my channel are directly from official government sources like USCIS.gov or the Department of State. So, without further ado, let's start with the very first question from Talha Ahmed. If I'm mispronouncing your names, I'm very sorry. Alright. Hi sir, I need to know an information. Our F4 visa priority date is on 2012. Okay, we got our welcome letter on 2021, January. That's great. But still now there is no movement. Still now they didn't tell us anything about paying the fees and so on. Now I am very worried about this. All I want to know that in which year I'll get my welcome letter. Oh, I thought you already got your welcome. We got our welcome letter on 2021 January. All I want to know in which year I get my welcome letter. Hope that you'll answer my question. Thank you. Okay, Talha Ahmed, I'm gonna probably need a little bit more information on this. So if you are F4 category, let's just start with that, and I'll use this as a opportunity to demonstrate how to navigate the visa bulletin. So we're gonna take a look. F4 category is brothers and sisters of US citizens. It's a forced priority category. So we're gonna go by the filing date because we're not I'm not too sure about the welcome letter, whether you're referring to the approval from USCIS or if you are referring to an actual welcome letter from NVC. Because if you got the welcome letter from NVC, then you should already have the access to the NVC portal where you can fill out all the application and you can pay all the fees. Unless, maybe, I'm thinking that might be the case. Unless you got the approval from USCIS and now you're just waiting basically for the immigrant visa to be available. And the reason why I think that is because the dates of filing for the family sponsored, for the F4 category, brothers and sisters, currently, as of today, as of March 2023, they are looking at the cases from December 2007. Okay, so if you have filed in back in 2012, and right now they're processing in 2000 from 2007, it means that there is about 5 years of the delay. So there's roughly, if we give a very rough estimate, another 5 years for the immigrant visa to become available for your case. And a lot of times NVC, in some cases, they give you access to the portal where you can get documentarily qualified and then wait for the immigrant visa to be available. Sometimes though, you actually have to wait. They wait until the closer, about 6 months to a year, closer to the immigrant to become available, and then they give you access to the portal where you can do all of the, get basically documentarily qualified. So I'm thinking that might be the case. Again, it's very rough estimates because these things, that's why they release a new visa bulletin every month, and I will make an updated video for visa bulletin every single month. Right now, the most recent one is from March 2023, this month. So the things might speed up, but the things also might slow down. So that's why I'm saying it's very rough. But I'm gonna put this here, and if you could please clarify specifically what kind of welcome letter it is that you got, that would probably make it a little bit more helpful, and I will be able to provide a little bit more information. Alright, let's move on to the next question from Mahes Eugene. I was approved as green card holder. Now I am a US citizen. How do I update? Excellent question. So whenever it comes to updating, it really depends on where your case is. Is it still with USCIS or was it already transferred to the NVC? Obviously, if it is still pending with USCIS, you will have to update it with them. So really all you need to do is either the best thing to do is to call them first. All right, call them up first and say, hey, I want to update my status, my filing status. What do I need to do? It's either the email that you can send or the letter by mail. I would recommend doing both, exactly the same email, exactly the same letter by mail, just to be on the safe side. Now, you keep in mind, a lot of times they really don't get to these letters and they don't update the status as a on a timely basis a lot of times. So basically what I mean is you have your petition pending as a green card holder, and then you file that request to change, and by the time that request is actually processed, your petition is already, moving along. So don't be surprised if that's the case. It happens in a lot of times. But if you still have some substantial wait time, then definitely just do it as soon as possible. Cover letter, basically saying from you to either USCIS or the Department of State, date, your details, your case number, whatever, everything you have, receipt number, and then obviously attach the documentation like the naturalization certificate. That would be more than enough. All right, let's move on to the next one from Luis Brian Zamaro Soleto. Good morning. Thank you for sharing such amazing video. Thank you for watching. But I have a couple questions and I hope you could help me with them. All right, let's see. I'll do my best. Parents petition. Okay. For the I-94, will it have a big effect with the application if they no longer live in the States since 2006? For the I-94, will it have a big effect with the application? Okay, so you are referring to the, let me read all your questions just to make sure. For immigration procedures, if any possible record happens over 15 years ago, will it still count or be set on the form? If any possible record happens over for the marriage certificate, even though I, the child, am applying for them, will I still have to show proof of them? Okay, let me start with the last question. Yes, you will definitely have to provide the marriage certificate. Definitely. In fact, for both of them. So for your dad, marriage certificate, for your mom, marriage certificate. Obviously, it's going to be the same, but they will definitely request in both of the situations, because once it is transferred to the NVC, you will have two separate portals for each person. So you'll have to log into your dad's portal first, attach the marriage certificate and all the other documents, and then you'll have to log into your mom's portal and then do the same thing. Now, for immigration procedures, if any possible record happens over 15 years ago, will it still count or be set on the form? Now, I'm not sure what kind of record are you referring to, so if you could clarify, is it a criminal record or what is it? But if there is a question, really it depends on the question that you're referring to in the application. Again, if you can point out specifically what you're referring to, that would be helpful and I would be able to provide a little bit more information. But if you're referring to the yes or no questions that they have, it's a general question, so they don't look at did you have a criminal record more than 10 years ago. It's not like that. Did you have a criminal record in general? So if it's yes, it doesn't matter how old it was, you're still answering yes. And then for the I-94, I'm thinking, because you're asking about your parents, so you're obviously doing the family immigration petition, I-130. So for the I-94, I'm thinking it's the record when they came into the United States back in 2006, so it was a while ago. I would say if it's possible to obtain, if you can pull up, I actually done a video on how to pull up the I-94 record. Now, obviously, back in 2006, it was still a paper, so they might not have it in the online database. It might not come up. If it doesn't come up, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. You might approximate the dates. If you don't know the exact dates, you can approximate them, or you can put unknown. Just answer, obviously, as truthfully as possible. So, have they ever been in the United States? Definitely yes, obviously. What were the dates of entry? Unknown, or can't pull up the record. Or, again, if you want, you can estimate. If you know the month and the year, you can at least put that, the 1st of, let's say, September, whatever, 2006. But again, try to obtain the I-94 if it's possible. That obviously would be much better. Okay, so hopefully I was able to address your questions. Let me know if you have any additional questions and I will be happy to address them. In fact, whoever's watching, however many questions you have, don't ever think that you're asking too many questions or anything like this. I'm able to make these videos because you are asking questions. So I am grateful for you to come here and watch the videos and watch the answers and ask the questions. All right, so let's move on to the next one from I am the Mia for real. Hello everyone, so my husband and I just got approved for the I-130. Congratulations, great news. It took us exactly a year to get approved. All right, sounds about right. We also sent our last verification on March 1st of 2023 and they approved us on March 6th, 2023. Emailed me on March 7th, 2023. Now I'm just waiting for the official letter to come in the mail to tell us what's next. Okay, so I'm assuming you have been approved by the USCIS side. Congratulations, that's really great news, and looks like the timing was really spot on in your case, so no problems at all. Basically what happens now is USCIS transfers your approved case to the Department of State to National Visa Center for further processing. So within about a month, because usually they try to, especially whenever it comes to the spouses or children who are under 21 and unmarried, immediate family, immediate relatives, what they try to do to forward that case within 30 days to the Department of State. So once Department of State receives your case, they create an online portal for you, NVC portal, and you will get, whether by mail or with email, so I would recommend being very cautious, all right, of your mail and of your email as well. Check your spam folders just in case, not to miss that welcome letter. And the welcome letter will have your case number, it will have the invoice number, the information that you need in order to log into that NVC portal. Once you log into the NVC portal, you will see just everything will be listed of everything you have to do, all the applications that you have to fill out. There are a couple of them, not a big deal, just some financial statements, visa application, pay some fees, and submit some documentation. Pretty much the same stuff that you submitted to USCIS, but now you're submitting it to the Department of State, basically for them to process your immigration visa. So congratulations with your case. Looks like everything is moving along pretty good. If you have any questions along the way further, don't hesitate to come back and ask them. All right, let's move on to the next one from I Gotcha. It says $220 on what exactly is Form I-5 stamp. I think it might be the fee for something. So thank you for sharing, I Gotcha. I'm not sure which fee it was, what I was referring to in here. Maybe it was for, no, I'm not sure. But I Gotcha, thank you for specifying the fee. All right, moving further to Kai Mau. Thank you so much, brother. You're awesome. Thank you very much, Kai, for watching. Appreciate it. And moving further, Ramesh. Nice. All right, thank you for watching. Kostema. All right, thank you so much for the video. You're very welcome. On the processing time tab of my USCIS, it says your case is taking longer than expected to process. You don't need to take action, but can do an inquiry. When I submitted the case, processing times were 5 months. Now it's 11.5 months. So I'm still in time frame. Any ideas? Thanks. Okay, yes, unfortunately, whenever it comes to the processing times, they do change, and it's weird, especially if you have, you know, once you submitted the case, it was completely different time and now it's longer. Pretty annoying. But I definitely would recommend submitting a case inquiry, just because, you know, just to kind of nudge them. It really is, I mean, it doesn't really do much. What it does is basically it sets you up if there is additional action that needs to be taken. You already submitted the case inquiry, you already done that, so now you can take further action in case if your case is still pending after, you know, a certain amount of time. It's you know, if it's not moving along. So definitely submit the case inquiry. Let me see. So you're 11.5 months. So I'm thinking you're probably, if it's 11.5 months, you're probably California or Nebraska center, maybe, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure you're probably a citizen inviting a spouse or a child that is under 21 and unmarried. I'm not sure, I don't know your category, but if you do provide additional details, I will be able to look up some with better details, some processing times on USCIS side and also on the Department of State side as well. All right, let's move on to the next one from Ricardo Miranda. What about the other workers for all chargeability? Okay, so whenever it comes to the work visas, right, again, this is the information that you will be able to look up in the visa bulletin. So two cases, right, if there's employment-based immigration or family-based immigration. So for other workers, again, it's the same thing. There are two different tabs. There's a tab specifically for dates of filing, basically when the case was received with USCIS, and then there's also another tab with final action dates, basically when your case was documentarily qualified with NVC, right? And you will find other workers, it's like a category in between the third and fourth category, and currently for all chargeability, after documentarily qualified is of January 2020, right? And then for other workers is February 2020 in dates for filing. So it's only a month. So there's just a month, so it's pretty much the same. It's pretty recent. So let's see. You didn't specify any of your dates, but February 2020, right now we are in March 2023, so roughly there's about 3 years of a delay on those visas, immigrant visas availability whenever it comes to other workers category as for the visa bulletin. But keep in mind that visa bulletin, it updates first of all every single month, and sometimes things speed up, sometimes they slow down. But roughly, as of right now, about 3 years. So I'm gonna pause this and we're gonna move on to the next question from Ivy Sarawar. We are F4 category. Okay, so F4 category, brothers and sisters of US citizens. Our priority date is 2012. We got welcome letter. Great, congratulations. In 2021, DNA test already done. Now when we go to USA from Bangladesh. All right, Ivy, so if your priority date is 2012, right? I believe I already looked that up today and it was 2007. 2007 and the December 2007, so there is about between yours 2012 and 2007, 5 years delay, right? So right now we are in 2023, so 5 years from now, roughly about 2028. So you already done all your NVC, obviously. I'm thinking if you already got the welcome letter and you done the DNA test and all of that sort of stuff, you're already good on the NVC side. So basically, it's really just a matter of waiting for that immigrant visa to become available. Yes, and looks like in your case, since you're in 2012 and right now they're processing stuff from 2007, 5 years delay, so about 5 years. Again, keep in mind things might slow down, they might speed up. It really depends on how many of those backlog immigrant visas are being processed really in a year, and are there more applications than there are visas available. I'm not gonna talk too much about this, but if you really want to know more about this, check out this video, the understanding of visa bulletin. Basically that's where I talk about that visa delay and why it happens, all right, why it's such a big problem. But let's move on to the next one for now from Sohila. I have a B1, B2 visa for 6 months and I'm a spouse of a US citizen. We've already applied for I-130, but it's taking forever. Yeah, I want to try to extend my visa. How long it takes to be processed, because I've already stayed 2 months. I still have 4 months. Does it worth the money to try, or will it be waste of time and money? I'm so frustrated. Okay, Sohila, so I'll try to help you as best as I can. So whenever it comes to the extension of stay, right? If you are planning to stay in the United States throughout this whole process, right, while all this petition, I would definitely recommend filing the extension. Definitely, because you've already been here 2 months, so you have about 4 months before your duration of stay expires. You definitely don't want to overstay that. So right now would be a good time, because you do want to give yourself at least 3-4 months for the processing of that application for the extension of stay, which is going to be completely separate thing. All right. While it's pending, obviously you can remain here in the country. Okay. Now there's another option, is that you stay here, right, for the next 4 months as much as possible, and then you go back to the country where you came from. It's if it's an option, and you don't have to worry about doing the whole visa extension. If you can come back on the same visa, you can come back next week, really. As long as you did not overstay that duration of stay, you're completely fine. But with that being said, obviously, you know, it involves some traveling that you will have to do. But if you do want to remain in the country, then yes, I would definitely recommend filing the I-539 as soon as possible, because that's how long it usually takes to process, first of all. Second of all, you will have additional stuff, even if the petition is approved. Let's see, when did you guys file? I'm not sure. Applied, we've already applied for I-130. So yeah, if you can provide a little bit more information on when you have applied for that, when was that I-130 petition submitted, then I would be able to give you a little bit more information, a little bit more insight with the processing dates. But besides the obviously getting approved on USCIS side, you also have to deal with the NVC. So it will be definitely pretty lengthy. All right, it's a pretty lengthy process, and as for spouses of U.S. citizens, it's not that bad. It's pretty fast compared to most other family petitions. But still, overall, yeah, it might take about, you know, a good year and a half, the whole process. So if you do definitely want to remain in the country while waiting for this process to complete, definitely file the extension of stay. All right, let's move on to the next one from GH Faridi. Hello, sir. Tell me for F4 category 2008, how much time to wait? Already wait 15 years. Please help me. Okay, so F4 category, I've already mentioned 2007, December 2007. I'm not sure if you're from any of this country. I'm going to assume for the purpose of this question that you're from all chargeability. So just 1 year. One more year, roughly 1 more year, because again, things might speed up, things might slow down. So it's not a guaranteed, but seems like 1 more year. You've been waiting for a very long time. There's about 16 years of delay, and you have already been waiting for 15 years. So hopefully just 1 more year of waiting and your immigrant visa will become available. All right, let's move on to the next one from Victor Ortalejo. How long is taking right now? So the question was on I-730 petition, basically refugee asylum relative petition. So great opportunity for me to demonstrate some navigation on USCIS.gov. Here we go. So in order to look up the processing time for a specific application, we're gonna go to Tools, and then we're gonna go to Case Status Online. Case Status Online, and then we're gonna scroll down and click on USCIS processing times and click on visit page. There's probably a faster, easier way to get to it, but that's what I do. So we are looking at I-730 petition. So we're gonna select form I-730. Here you go, refugee asylum relative petition. Now form category, there's only one petition for accompanying family members of an asylee. And then the field office, I don't know which one. There's only 2 options, Nebraska or Texas, so we're going to check both. So currently in Nebraska, 13 months, and in Texas, let's see. Wow, Texas is actually significantly longer than Nebraska. So if you filed, if your case went to Nebraska, much faster than Texas. So if you want to come back and let me know which processing center it went to, probably would be very helpful. Honestly, I'm not sure why there is such a crazy delay in Texas. This seems to be, usually they're about few months apart. This seems to be like the really big difference. So hopefully USCIS eventually addresses that, because that's not very good. But let's move on to the next one from Rebel Sin. Your channel deserves a lot more views, in my opinion. Very good information and service you're providing. Thank you, Rebel Sin. Thanks to everyone who's watching and asking questions, because without your views, without your questions, this channel wouldn't exist. So let's move on to the question from, or not a question, just a comments from Samwati Gafur. Not fair, illegal getting green card and legal not getting visa. Unfortunately, there's a lot of unfair stuff, and one of the things would be, of course, the way things are going on in the whole immigration, in the whole political arena, right? That's really what it is. Because for these people, it's politics, it's votes, it's grants and obviously money and benefit. And for people that are actually immigrants, that are actually going through the process, who knows, who sees everything, it's not very fair. So I definitely do agree with that. It's not good. A lot of times the resources, they're not channeled in the right direction, unfortunately. Like, for example, with asylum cases, there are people that have been waiting for the interview now for 7-8 years, and they still have not been scheduled the interview. Meanwhile, someone who crossed the border illegally, they can apply for asylum and then they can get their interview within a matter of couple of weeks. And there is legislation that came out that enables that. And somebody somewhere up there thought that it was a good idea and thought that it was fair. Believe it or not, it's pretty crazy. But again, that's why I say it a lot of times in my videos. It's one thing when you have someone who is familiar with immigration law, who's maybe an attorney, who maybe was involved, Customs Border Protection, USCIS, all sort of stuff, right? And then you have a whole huge group of people that have absolutely no idea about the process, nothing about the immigration. They look at the news, CNN, whatever they say, they look at it and they're like, oh, okay, so that's, I guess, how things are. And then there are immigrants themselves, like ourselves. We go through the process, we see how things are, we know where the stuff is taking ridiculous amounts of time, we know where stuff is unfair, but unfortunately, a lot of times whenever it comes to Congress and making the decisions on immigration legislation, on immigration laws, it's not the people that are actually familiar with the process, with immigration in general. It's the people that play with votes and play with whatever got in a in a whole random discussion here. Let's stick to the topic. Okay, let's move on to the next question coming from Enzama Dennis. Thanks for all your answers. You're very welcome, Enzama. Thank you for asking your questions. May I know if I'm eligible for B2 visa yet? I don't have bank statement, but my sponsor has all the documents required, and my home ties is that I have job and I look after my single mother and my siblings in my home country. Thanks. Yes, Enzama, actually, I think you've answered your own question here. Definitely, you have plenty of things that show your ties and you understand it very well. That is really what you want to establish whenever it comes to getting a non-immigrant visa, tourist visa, like B2 or B1. Basically, you're saying that, hey, it's a temporary visit. I'm not planning to immigrate to the United States. Look, I have the ties to my home country. My mother is here, my household is here, all the good stuff. Obviously, the bank statements. It's not a specific requirement for a B1, B2 to have bank statements, especially if you can show the sponsor in the United States. That definitely helps and kind of would be sufficient enough to satisfy. But again, whenever it comes to the US embassies, it's really hit and miss because it is fully at the discretion of them whether they decide to give you. So you might have everything you need, you think is just everything you could possibly need, right? And you would, in your own eyes, qualify for visa without any problems, but you can still get denied. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is with U.S. embassies around the world. Some of the U.S. embassies, especially with in the countries where the immigration is a little bit heavier, there's more people immigrating, and they are a little bit pickier, a little bit stricter whenever it comes to giving out the visas. But I think in your case, everything is looking good, and you can definitely give it a shot and try getting the B2 visa. All right, let's move on to the next question from Makisrael Tete Owusu. Most likely mispronounced it, I'm very sorry. Can I get my visa denied if I'm a hepatitis B patient, please? Okay, excellent question. So whenever it comes to the medical stuff, right? again, it's a discretion of U.S. Embassy, of USCIS, whoever's processing the petition, whoever's processing your visa request, or if you're just getting a visa, for example, like in the previous comment, like a B2, B1 visa. Yes, they can definitely, you will be in the application, you will be asked if there are certain chronic illnesses and stuff like this. So obviously you'll have to be truthful, and you'll have to say yes, of course. And it might be considered as grounds for inadmissibility. It's hard to say yes, absolutely, or no, absolutely not. But I would recommend in your case, just in case, even if if you're filing a petition or anything like that, just to be prepared with a waiver. And basically a waiver is if there is some kind of ground for inadmissibility that is considered by USCIS or NVC, US embassies, considered as the grounds for inadmissibility, you can file a waiver for that and basically have them waived specifically for your case. So it's really hard to give a definitive answer, unfortunately, to your question, because it depends on what you're applying for, what kind of visa you're going for. But just in case, be prepared with a waiver, and it's called inadmissibility waiver. And I'll probably make a separate video specifically on it, because I think that's a really good question. It's important thing to keep in mind. All right, let's move on to the next question comment from Little Mouse. I filled my I-130 petition from November 2019. I got a letter that is approved. Congratulations, and sent to NVC for processing. Is that the welcome letter? I haven't heard anything from the NVC. What should I do next? Okay, excellent question. So I'm thinking you might have gotten the approval letter from USCIS, okay? And that's that form I-797C, if I'm correct. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 797C. Basically, that says that, hey, we have approved your case and we transferred it to NVC. All right, that is not the welcome letter. That's just the approval letter from USCIS. The welcome letter comes directly from the Department of State, and that letter, you will see there's going to be a case number, there's going to be an invoice number, I think that's what they call it. Basically, a few different numbers, and there will be a link to your NVC portal. It depends on what you specified in the petition itself. It might come in the mail as a paper, as a physical letter, or it might come in the email. So right now, I definitely recommend paying close attention, very close attention to your mail and also your email, everything. Just your spam folder, just check everything, just in case, not to miss that welcome letter. But it depends also on which category you're in, because let's see, I filed petition November 2019. So if you just recently got the approval from the USCIS, I'm thinking that you're probably in a category of a permanent resident filing for somebody, and as a permanent resident, you can only file for your spouse and for your children, right? So I'm thinking maybe you're in the category of permanent residents, and the visas are current. So once you are done, once you're documentarily qualified with the NVC, everything should be transferred pretty much, within like a month or two to the local US embassy to schedule the interview. So with that being said, if you got the approval letter from USCIS, within 30 days, you should be getting that welcome letter, because those visas are available. But again, if you can come back and provide a little bit more details on this video, like which category the petition is in, that would definitely be helpful, and I would be able to provide a little bit more information. Moving further to the next one from, again, Lil Mas. How do I know when to do an inquiry on my case? Okay, so basically, if you, let's say your petition is still pending with USCIS, for example, right? And you check the processing times. It says that it typically takes processing time 10 months. And now it's been 11 months, it's been 12 months. So it's like a month or 2 months over the normal regular processing time. That's a good time to file the case inquiry. Now, in your situation, I'm thinking maybe you're asking about the NVC. You can definitely submit. If you don't hear them, if your visa is current, right, if the petition that you're filing is in the categories where the visas, the immigrant visas, are current, where they're available immediately. There is no cap on them. And you have been approved with USCIS, and you have been waiting now for about 2 months and still no welcome letter. In that case, yes, I would also recommend submitting the case inquiry. It's called public inquiry with the Department of State. Just put in all the receipts number, everything that you have, all your information, and submit it, just to kind of see where the case is going. But again, if you can provide a little bit more information, I would be able to provide a little bit more details in my answer. Okay, let's cover 2 more questions here, because this video is getting already too long. It's 35 minutes. Moving on to Peterson or Gega, yeah, definitely mispronounced this, sorry about that. Do I need a police certificate from the country where I got my degree some 40 years ago? Police certificate, got my degree. Okay, it's a interesting question. So I'm not sure how the police certificate is related to the degree. So I'm thinking this is your original country and you're asking the question on I-130. Yes, in the NVC portal, they definitely do request a police certificate. Basically, it's just a statement from the police of the local, of the home country, of the beneficiary, saying that the beneficiary has no, basically he's not in, he's not wanted, he doesn't have any courts scheduled, he doesn't have any criminal charges against him, anything like this. So yes, definitely. But I'm also curious about my degree. If you could kind of clarify that, I will probably be able to provide a little bit more details on that. Alright, let's move on to the very last question in this video from Imran Khan. I have a question: how much should I pay with filing form I-539 with 2 kids, I think, for form I-539A? Excellent question. So whenever it comes to I-539, basically I-539 is just a supplement, right? So you use that supplement just to add additional family members. So you only pay a petition fee, the application form fee, for the application I-539 itself. So you're gonna have one fee, one application fee, right? And then for each additional member, right, whoever is on the supplemental form I-539A, you will just be paying the $85 for the biometric fee, basically the fingerprint, the picture, all of that sort of stuff that they do during the biometric appointment. So one application fee for the whole application, no matter how many people are on the application, I-539A supplemental, right? And then the biometric fee for each person that is on the application. So let's say if there are 5 people on the application, you're paying 1 application fee and then 5 biometrics fees. All right, so thank you everyone for watching. Again, I really hope that I was able to answer your questions and be helpful with this video. Again, do not hesitate to ask your questions. They're very, very welcome on this channel. As always, thank you for watching. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.